Hey everybody, Bill in Thailand. Welcome back. So I'm going to be under the tables today, starting to do the tie-ins for the feeders. I did go shopping and I got 3 tubes of the Max Bond construction adhesive, which should be more than enough to take care of everything that I'm going to be doing over on the far table. I also bought a little mobile work seat, I guess is what you'd call it. It's got a little tool compartment under the red lid. It's rated at 330 pounds, which gives me a pretty good safety margin. It's going to put me lower so that when I'm bending, I can do work underneath a little bit easier and at least get some stuff going, and then I can squat on the floor if I need to. But also made a large batch of the longer rail joiner and feeders. Again, those will be used on the far side, up along the wall, where I've got a lot of tracks that I'll be putting in power at some point in time here in the near future. So anyway, I'm going to get started underneath, and I'll show you some snippets as I go once I make some progress and get some of these wires tied in. So not one to let a nice comfortable evening go to waste. I've been out on the layout for a little while. I've got a TechII throttle zip tied to my backer board over there, and that's probably what I'm going to do because it just makes it easy to remove the pack when I want it removed, and I'm just going to go with that. Very simple setup, and I have that plugged into a adapter slash converter. I've got 3 of those of different types. You can see that kind of greenish blue white, that's another one. And when I plug the pack in and I test voltage, you can see I got a little multimeter setting there. When the rheostat is at 0 and I can't move it any farther over, I'm getting about 1.2, 1.5 volts. So I'm gonna bring out one of my other packs and just hook it up and see if I'm getting the same. I think it's probably the power pack. It shouldn't have anything to do with the power feed going into it, because again, that's a rheostat controlled output. And if the rheostat is at a 0 setting, the output should be at 0, but it's not. And even my little indicator light has a very faint green glow when I turn it on. But having said all that, those of you that follow me and watch my videos might recognize this Pennsylvania engine. It is one that I use to test Jerry's build, the N-scale layout that I put together for Jerry here a couple of years ago. And I have had it running already, not far, basically going from there to there, and from there to the bridge. Now, I did try to run it across that Kato Unitrack bridge, and it just sputtered, hesitated, stopped, and I'd shove it and it would move a fraction of a millimeter or an inch, depending upon your system of measurement. So I know I'm getting power going through it, and as soon as I got on the other side, I actually had power and it ran just fine. So the track is filthy. And I knew that coming into this. That's why, it's not attached yet. I will take it out and I will clean that track thoroughly. And none of the other track has been touched yet for clean. So again, I'm quite happy that I'm getting some movement even with track that's been sitting and used and dusty. So tomorrow, do a lot more, get more of the feeders installed, make sure that everything does run and I've got any trouble spots taken care of. And if the engine hesitates a little bit, as long as it's not on top of a joiner, just probably track is dirty, so I can clean all that, but I can go on to the next stage of gluing the track down fairly soon. So anyway, I'll show you that it moves. And the reason it stopped there is that's flex track, and I have a couple of track nails just holding it in place until I glue it down. So you can see it works. So under the layout today, working on attaching my feeders into my bus line. Where possible, I'm doubling up on the wires into a single connector, saves materials. And since I do not have isolation blocks on any of the main line, I can do this. I will probably add some blocks in the yard area on some of those longer sidings so that I can have a train stationed and put a different train out on every once in a while so that I'm not burning up an engine, you know, and other things like that. But for here, simple. Wires out, plug in, connection made. I make sure though that the little tab on the T connector here, the connector part that goes in, is actually seated in the connector piece for the bus lines. I've already had a couple of instances where when I push it in, it kind of deflects off to the side and doesn't go into the little slot, doesn't make contact. So I always make sure I double check those with flashlights so that I can see accurately and see well, make sure that I do have them in proper position. But anyway, I'm going to continue to crawl around on the floor and add in my feeders here. So more coming. So I have all of the feeders hooked up now on the 3 tables over here and the other side. Nothing yet through the yard. That will be a project for this week. But I have run the engine a little bit. But let's take video and watch it go here. I still have not cleaned the bridge track. That's something I might do yet this evening. As I've done additional testing, of course it stalls out over there. There will be retaining walls on this side of the track in this location. I am hooked up, so the engine will go through on this yard track. And it runs very well considering I've got junk joiners that I just put there to hold it together while I was kind of getting an idea for how I wanted it. So everything's nice and smooth. Means I can start gluing track in place, but it is going to die as soon as it gets over on the bridge. Ooh, it actually got farther than it did the past few times. So it's like it was yesterday when I did this, is that the track is dirty because you can see it's trying to move. Actually, the more that I've been running on it, the better the engine has gone. Let's just kind of give it some nudges to get it off the trestle here. I can get my fingers in there. As soon as I get back over onto This other part, it's going to take off. There we go. So I've got electrical going through on that bridge. It's just track is filthy. If you look at it, it is just not good at all. Will stop as soon as I get into the yard here because I have no power. But anyway, it's running. So I think with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. I've got a lot of work to do yet. I will transition to getting at least my mains run through the yard. And I pull out an older power pack. The TechII that I was using yesterday does have a problem. It just does not want to put out 0 volts where it's supposed to. So I took this out of my Bachmann little train set that I bought and just hooked it up. And you've seen the results. It ran the layout beautifully, nice even power. So I'm a happy camper on that. But I do not want this on here permanent. I've got an old power pack that I bench tested that I was getting the proper voltage out. I'm gonna put it on here and go with that one rather than this one. So I'm gonna work on that a little bit too, but I'm a happy camper. I've made good progress this week. So with that, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time. And dirty track. All right, that is it for this one.